was founded in 1946 by farmers and business owners because they needed a community bank that knew them and understood their business. A lot has changed since then, but Merchants and Planters Bank is still employee-owned and operated, and we're still committed to knowing and understanding the needs of every customer we serve. Great rates, fast turnarounds, and experienced local bankers ready to work for you. That's why you should choose Merchants and Planters Bank. Stop at any of our 12 locations or contact us at mnpbank.com.
We always want to thank our sponsors for what they do for us to allow us to do this show, but sometimes we just have to do a short show because there's sports out there on national television, ESPN, where there's somebody said there was a game tonight. Hayden, tell us about this game that's going on.
Yeah, I think there is a game tonight, Dave.
Who's playing?
Little foosball, as some would call it.
Yeah.
I believe the Horned Frogs of TCU and the Georgia Bulldogs.
Oh, is this in football? Basketball or football?
It's football.
It's a football game?
Still playing football.
About 6:30 is what time the game starts, right?
I think so. 6:37, something like that.
Talking about that game, we'll talk a little bit about Newport Tuckerman. We'll talk about just a couple of things. We're not going to be on here long, but we did want to come on and remind you that that football game is a big one, and I'm sure everybody knows that. And interesting matchup, to say the least, simply because everybody in the country expected Georgia to be there, and nobody in the country expected TCU except Hayden at the start of the year.
Not at the start of the year. I picked him over Michigan.
But
I've got witnesses.
That's okay. I mean,
I just haven't been paid yet.
Little side wager?
A little something. We can't talk about gambling on here.
That is exactly right. This is no, cannot talk about that on here.
No money. It was a pride thing, but I hadn't been paid. I hadn't got an old handshake enough.
When along the way did you really think that TCU might have a chance? Did they have to get to the Final Four before that happened, or did you think late when they were winning? And
I really like what they have as far as a quarterback standpoint. I think that guy's got some dog in him. After the game that they played in the championship game, the conference championship game, he said, "Don't worry, we'll be back."
Right.
I mean, you could just see the hurt in him, and I was like, Michigan's got a couple guys hurt. Everybody's kind of really, rooting them on as far as a big old line. They're just going to bully them off the line. Michigan, I thought, came in that game a little cocky, and from the start of the game, you know, when they go 3 and out, I'm like, dang, that was quick. And then the pick 6, and I was like,
right,
here we go.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some fireworks, and that's what it was. I mean, it was a good game. I like the Horned Frogs. I mean, a small college. I mean, they ain't got very many kids enrolled. I was looking at the numbers as far as how many's enrolled in Georgia and TCU, and it's, I mean, not even close. And I think a lot of people are rooting for TCU, the underdog, to beat Georgia. Nobody really wants Georgia to win. They're the new Alabama, so everybody's kind of hating on them. But should be a good football game tonight. I think it'll be a good one.
First time in history, I think I read where the underdog is a double-digit underdog. I mean, Georgia's like a 13, anywhere from 11 to 16 point favorite, and usually falling up around 13 to 15.
Yeah, I think it was like 12 and a half when I last looked at it. So I mean, for a national championship game, that's a lot.
That's
of points.
a lot of points.
But that just tells you how good Georgia is,
right?
And you know what they've done, and they've just kind of stemmed over from last year. As far as defensively, I don't think they're as good as they were last year, but offensively, they might be a little bit better with Stetson Bennett still there. So I expect fireworks. It might be a shootout.
All right, we're going to do this quickly, and we'll move on to Newport Greyhound stuff. Prediction on who's going to win the game, and who's going to win?
You know, I want to ride the TCU in, but it just ain't enough. I got Georgia winning. And
will they cover the spread, whatever the spread? Will they cover that 12.5?
And I expect this game to be close for maybe half, and then kind of you'll just see Georgia run away with it. If the line ends at 12.5, I could see Georgia covering. I could see them winning by 10, 12, 14, something like that. So.
Okay, so Georgia will cover the spread.
Yeah, I mean, I think that TCU gives it everything that they got, and they might step into the bag with some trick plays or things like that a little late to try to. But I just think Kirby Smart, what he's done at Georgia these past 5-7 years is really good. His recruiting that he gets the best in the country now. So I got Georgia and covering.
All right, Josh, I know you've got Georgia.
Yeah, I like TCU, but not for this game.
Okay, I got you.
Georgia's going to win this game.
All right, now do you think that TCU will be able to cover those points, or do you think Georgia's going to win by more than 12? Or
I think Georgia's going to run away with it in the end, like Hayden said.
yeah, I'm in agreement.
I just think they're just too good up front physically. If they get up, 8, 9, 10 points or something like that they're good enough to where they can rely on the big men up front, run the football, maybe score one late to make it, 14, 17 points or something like that. That's what I kind of foresee.
Well, and I mean, anytime you play those national championship games, I mean, anything can happen. You got to look at breaks. You got to look at penalties. You can't say preparation because I mean, you're prepared to play this game.
Yeah,
you're prepared. Luck comes into play sometimes, but generally speaking, when you get down, I mean, it's just it who makes plays and who doesn't make plays. I mean, you just got to make plays to win the game. So we'll move on from that. We're consensus Georgia, and we're consensus that Georgia will cover the spread anywhere from 10 to 15 points, or 11 or 12, or whatever the case may be. Newport and Tuckerman, and what a great night to be a basketball fan in Jackson County at Greyhound Fieldhouse. What a crowd from the Bulldogs, what a crowd from the Greyhounds, and 3 pretty good basketball games too. Just an awesome night. The night that we dedicate the actual floor, the Bill Osier court, and Coach Osier obviously coached several years at Tuckerman and then at Newport. And what a crowd. And talk first a little bit about the crowd.
Yeah, and they had to shut the doors.
Yes.
I mean, that max capacity, it was standing room only.
Never seen that happen before.
Never. And somebody was asking, have you, and not even close. I've never seen, even when we played Tuckerman not very long ago.
Right.
It wasn't like that.
That's correct.
I mean, it was slam packed. It was elbow to elbow in there. I mean, we got to see it from the visitor side and got to see our home crowd. I mean, it was exciting. It was a great atmosphere, and I think that our coaches enjoyed it as far as seeing the community come out. And then, with the presentation, I thought Stan McKee did a really good job of doing that, along with Charles Ballantyne speaking. That's exciting. I mean, when you got somebody like that, Charles Ballantyne, a guy that went to your school, said, "I'll drop everything I got. I'll come over here and I'll talk about Coach Ogier," because that's what he meant to him. So
absolutely. And there were a bunch of former players that showed up.
I mean, those guys that came on the floor that you probably hadn't seen in 20, 30 years and stuff like that. So that was exciting. I mean, it was a very, very exciting crowd. I thought it was. And it was clean. I thought both teams kind of respected each other. It never got real chippy. You always kind of fear that as far as a little mouthing, a little extra, a little push, a little something. But overall, I mean, it never got to that point. I think both teams respected each other, and it was a great atmosphere and a great basketball game.
Even the girls' game tied at half.
Yeah.
And then Soden just went berserk in the second half.
Listen, I was talking to Brandon Gates Saturday, and he was telling me he doesn't think anybody has talked to her, reached out to her to play college basketball.
She's a winner.
And I said, well, I guess she might be a little short. I don't know what, guards run at the college level. But I'll tell you this. If any, and she might want to play softball. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, she's just as good as that. But if I'm a coach from around here, all I got to do is watch her shoot. And, I mean, it's nothing but the bottom. I mean, she can flat out shoot. And, Friday's game, it just felt like she was shooting wherever she wanted, and it was just bottom. And then I went Saturday, and they played a double overtime game against Manila. Nothing but the bottom of that. I mean, she's shooting 35, 40-footers. I mean, with ease. I mean, maybe not 40, 35 at least. I ain't kidding. I mean, I've never seen anybody pull up where she pulled up, and just nothing but cash. So, I mean, they've got a good bunch. I mean, Alton played well, Boyd played well. I mean, they've got a solid team over there, and I think they're 15 or 16-2 or something like that on the year. And Chad Soden's got a good ball club over there, and they're going to compete to win the conference and things like that. Got to go through Melbourne and Salem, things like that. But it was a good game. Got out of hand a little at the late because she couldn't miss.
Right.
There was nothing you could. I mean, it's nothing to hang your hat on. I mean, you're sitting there and you're playing. We played 2.5, 3 quarters with them, and I mean, it was. Soden played well. Dawson played well. She added 12, 14 points, something like that. So
she's a good player.
I thought our girls played hard. I mean, Head was in double digits. Aubrey was in double digits. Washam played hard. Nia Davis, I thought, was a beast down low. I mean, we played a good game, but Tuckerman got the best of us in the girls.
Well, they did, and one more thing on talking about Coach Soden and his daughter. I mean, Michaeline Clark Soden was a great basketball player. Chad was a tremendous athlete, and Michaeline was a great basketball player. Tuckerman played on the state championship game and at the team. But when you get those two together and you have babies, they're going to be pretty athletic. But let me tell you what I was really impressed about her was her ability to communicate among her teammates as just like a coach on the court, and you're on the far end. And when I was walking over to get my interviews done, and even when we were at the end of the game, when the girls who didn't play a lot came in, and she was, "So you get here, and this is the defense we're going to run, blah 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 blah." You could see an extension of her daddy out there on the court. Is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, she's another coach out there, and what better one to have than knows exactly what he wants to do. I mean, she gets to go home and hear it every day. I'm sure she gets tired of it. So. And
what a junior high game. Kind of wasn't a buzzer beater as such, but it was kind of a buzzer beater.
Yeah. Man, I thought, once again, both teams played exceptionally hard. I think that's going to be something that stems into high school with that group. Zeke Church, I thought he was phenomenal.
He was great, wasn't he?
And hit the shot, to win. But it was just a great atmosphere. Our boys played hard. And you come up a little short, and it was a game that – could have went either way. I think the boys ended up getting up 7 or 9, something like that in the fourth, and Tuckerman just clawed away. They got some kids over there, man, and they play hard. They don't run necessarily a half-court offense. They try to get it and go.
Right,
They ain't sitting back. So, I mean, the 2 quarters I got to watch, it was a track meet. I mean, it was just lay up, go. I mean, it was just back and forth. So that was exciting, too. And I think that set the tone for the girls' game to come out the way they did and then the boys' game to follow. I thought that game really set the tone.
Well, I just thought it was a tremendous night in Newport, Arkansas for Jackson County. You know, we didn't play for a couple of years. And what are the reasons? I don't know the reasons why we didn't, but I know this. We're playing because we're in a conference, but we non-conference or not, or in the conference or not, Newport and Tuckerman need to play every year. And if we're in the conference with them, we need to schedule 2 non-conference games and then 2 conference games with them. I'm just telling you, it makes for great basketball right here, and friends playing against friends, and it's just it was just a great atmosphere. And let me tell you what, when Newport goes to Tuckerman here in a couple of weeks, it will be rowdy, and it'll be one of those nights where they have to shut the doors because there are no seats left.
Absolutely.
And it'll be a great atmosphere for basketball. But that's about the only 2 things that we had to cover tonight. We do want to mention one thing real quickly before we get off the air. The greatest Greyhound, the greatest Newport Greyhounds, a little Facebook deal we're putting together, and we're going to identify and honor some of those folks. Hayden and talked with Benny Smith last week when you were on assignment elsewhere. But we just want to try to recognize some folks that have been instrumental in where our program got to where it is and how it got there. And I'm talking about, and I said today on my post, 50 to 60 years ago, look at some of the great players, the great teams, the great, whatever the case may be, women's, men's. I'm just excited to put the thing together. And it's kind of always been my dream. It's kind of been my vision to where could you do this? And I finally got myself in a position where I've got enough time to try to put this thing together. I'm excited to unveil this thing as we go.
Well, and you get to see a lot of people that don't know as far as, those teams back then that were, arguably some of the best teams to ever come through Newport didn't win a state championship.
Right.
That were, flat out could play. You had 11 dogs on offense, you had 11 dogs on defense, and you should win. And they kind of get left behind because you always talk about 81, 91.
That's right.
You talk about undefeated 68 team.
Yeah, and next
and
year,
then you
69.
talk about 69. When you talk about our history, those are kind of the teams that get brought up. Some people say, well, I'll tell you what, that 89 group, though. And you'll hear that occasionally.
Sure.
But then you get to go see it and actually dig into what they did, and you're like, golly, how did this team lose? How good was the team that beat them? So that's always, I find that the most interesting thing is when you really dig into it, the teams that might have got left behind as far as how talented they were, they didn't put it together, or just ran into a buzzsaw sometimes. I think 3 years in a row ran into Pine Bluff Dollarway, and they won 3 state championships that year or something like that.
Well, they won 5 in a row.
5 in a row. They dropped to Double A.
After they beat us twice.
And we won a 91 because they probably dropped to Double
right.
A. So, that I always find that interesting. But before we go, Dave, you didn't talk about the senior boys.
You talk about the
basketball team.
Well, it was a great game. It was a tremendous game, and guys up and down the court, and both teams running the basketball and played hard, and you could tell that it's just one of those games that I kind of said when I got through watching the game, I was tired. I was tired of watching, and I wondered just how those kids felt after playing as hard as they did, and then coming away with a victory for the Hounds was about a hard-earned victory where when you see those guys warm up from Tuckerman, you go, I just don't think these guys are going to match up against Newport's athleticism, their speed, and then all of a sudden, hey, they got 5 or 6 athletes out there too that played exceptionally well.
14-5 in the first quarter.
Absolutely. Hands down 14-5, and then all of a sudden.
And then what I find really crazy about that 14-5, and then at halftime 19-19.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
So it just flip flop. We scored the 14, they scored 5. I thought that was a pretty cool stat line, but maybe a little undersized, but their guards can go.
They can play.
They can flat out go. And all 5 of them can shoot.
Yep.
Don't even let Alcorn just stay down low. He come out to the corner. He'll shoot a 3. So, they're going to be a dangerous team later on when they start putting things together. I think they're a lot like us. They might not necessarily – they have it together, but it might not just all come full circle. Because I watched them play Saturday against Gosnell. And, didn't play real well early. And then Waylon Taggart went down there and hit 3 or 4 threes in a row. And in that little gym at Swifton. It got
Kell Classic,
It got
what?
a little rowdy.
Yeah.
And, the kids were feeding off of it, and they ended up walking away with a win. Marty Neal hit the game winner. So I thought it was exciting. I thought Kendall had a good game down low for us. The general, John Moore, played well. Denton, Cright, I think they all added. Curry coming off the bench.
Right.
When Brendan Curry comes off the bench, you're pretty good.
Well, sometimes, and if we can get our kind of kids, sometimes when we can get 6 out there and go 6 on 5, we're real good.
We did do that once, didn't we?
Yes, sir, we did. But great victory for Newport and a great effort by Tuckerman. And I can assure you, when we go to Tuckerman, it'll be
another good one.
It'll be a tough place for the Newport Greyhounds to win. I don't care wherever you go. It's hard to win in Tuckerman's gymnasium because it not like Swifton as such, but it's pretty close to Swifton. And I do want to just talk a little bit about the Kell Classic that's going on right now. Been going on for many, many years. It's sponsored by M&P Insurance Services.
Years now.
Yeah, and the atmosphere at the Kell. How many people can get in that little gym? Not many.
I would say 600.
Oh, I wouldn't even thought that many. You think that really?
I would think
3 and
600.
3.
Well, now they stand
Right
there too.
Yeah.
I would say 600 would be can't let another person in.
Well, it'd be tight. It'd be tight for everybody.
I mean, when you go in there and look at it, you're going to go, hey, maybe 200 people.
Right, there you go.
I'm going on the high end. I'm going to say 600 people can probably get in there.
Well, I know this. It also is a great atmosphere, and I guess they have games during the week and what the finals.
They got games tonight, and then they got games Wednesday night, and then they got the championship Saturday.
Okay, Saturday.
So, I mean, and I have yet, and I don't know how many Kells I've went to. I would say I'm 25. I'd say I went to 10, maybe 12 of them. I've been to quite a few of them.
Right.
I have not been to a Kell and not watched a buzzer beater or a overtime game.
Is that right?
Never. I've never not been to one and not have an overtime or a buzzer beater.
And it's so loud in that building. Oh. It's so loud. I mean,
I'm going to go Wednesday night because Bay's coming and they travel real well and they usually got a pretty good crowd and Tuckerman will be there. So it'll be a good atmosphere if you want to go watch high school basketball. I'm telling you, that is the best gymnasium in Jackson County, and I hate to say that and take that away from ours or Tuckerman.
Yeah,
it's electric.
Old style, old gymnasium.
I might just say that because I got a little purple in me.
Right, there you go. There you go. It's a great place to play. It's a great place to host a tournament.
Oh, and not to take away from any other tournament, that's what Michael Holland, I talked to him Saturday, and he said, you like the Kell? I said, it's the best tournament in the state of Arkansas. I don't care what you say about the NEA. I don't care what you say about the WBU. This is the best tournament in Arkansas because you get like these teams like Rector, Mammoth Springs that you probably never get to watch or see.
But they can play.
They can play. And, last year I got to watch Rector play Melbourne in the finals. And I'm like, Rector and Melbourne?
Yeah.
These are the two best teams out here?
Pretty elite, too, weren't they?
And went to overtime, and Rector ended up winning that game. So it is a great, great atmosphere to go for a basketball game. I mean, I love the Kell. I don't think you can beat it. And then you get to go in there, and they still got all their old stuff up there. And it is one of the nicest floors. There's no dead spots on it. You never see anybody dribbling and, lose the ball or anything like that. It's just awesome, and it's right on top of you.
Right.
I mean, you not a bad seat in the house.
What I do like about is that you have to sit up. Everybody has to sit up if you're, quote, you're on the floor, but you're on top of it.
Yeah.
There's not a bad seat in the house right there, is there? Not a bad seat.
Not one.
I think I may go with you Wednesday night. Am I invited?
Come on. I kind of wanted to go tonight with the national championship going on and stuff like that. I said, nah, I'll hold off tonight, and I'll go to the semifinal Wednesday.
That's going to do it for Sports Unleashed on a Monday night because we got to get out of here and get home and watch the national championship game. We got the Two Chicks Forest birthday report coming right up at Hayden. As always, go Hounds. it's the Two Chicks Florist and More birthday report. Happy New Year to everybody. And today's birthday, we wish a happy birthday to these people. Angela McGinnis, Tyler Dorton, Jamie Harvey has a birthday today, and Courtney Reed does also, and Newport Greyhound Isaiah Kendall, all with birthdays on today. Birthdays tomorrow include Freeman Travis, Sean Alcorn has a birthday, Will Francis also with a birthday tomorrow, Jackie Donaldson, Aaron Henderson, Lisa Forster with a birthday, Stephen Schlottauer with a birthday, Kate Greeno, Kendall Williams also with a birthday tomorrow. In the birthdays later in January, later this week, Jason Tubbs with a birthday, Madeline Stanfield has a birthday, Kenny Whaley also with a birthday, Sally Foshee Long has a birthday. Later this week, Terry Ball, Charles Flippo, Michael Riley with a birthday, Mark Prescott, Courtney Tate, Nita Martinez, Carol Lowry, and Braylee Smith, all with birthdays later this week. Also, we'd like to wish a happy birthday to Autumn Mears, Judy Brannon, Jacob Abrahamson, Jacob Belcher has a birthday. Seth Billings also has a birthday later this week. Annette Marchand Gage with a birthday. Trey Weinmiller, Gene Evans, Amanda Henson Hoyt with birthdays. John G. Pennington, number 64 in the program, number 1 in the heart. Beverly Helms also with a birthday. Amy Schaffner Young. Oscar Awake also has a birthday later this week, as does Grace Olette. Jared Eddington, Scott Midget with a birthday. Laura Giles has a birthday this week. Tammy Cole Woods has a birthday. Tanisha White, Vicky Hartzell Adams has a birthday. And Bill Malden also has a birthday this week. We want to wish happy birthday to each and every one of you. And if we missed your birthday, happy birthday to you also. All brought to you by Two Chicks, Florist, and More. Take this opportunity to thank all of our sponsors on Cable 15 TV, Facebook Live, Sports Unleashed. And that list is long, and we certainly appreciate all of them, or we wouldn't be able to put these programs together. Included in that list is C&M Ag Depot at 2900 Highway 367 North. Farm supplies, hardware, clothing store, power tools, you name it. Before you shop out of town, come see us at C&M Ag Depot. Dia Scrap Metal, buying cars, iron, copper, can, brass, steel, stainless, electric motors. They buy everything and they pay in real money. Give them a call at 523-3858 for more information. Fletcher Land Survey, before you build that fence, make sure you have accurate boundaries. If you don't, you might mess up and have to tear it down. Give Kenny a call at 523-5625. Other sponsors include Fathead Pizza. That's one word and it's all caps. And it's the Hembry Brothers, Joey and Marcus. Great pizza, fresh, hot sandwiches, and the salad supreme that's second to none. You can call your order in at 870-201-1313. They'll have it ready to go. It'll be piping hot when you pick it up. Delta Trailer, been involved for 50 plus years right here in Newport, Arkansas. Dale Lee started this business many years ago in his backyard. And he built one trailer, and then one trailer went to 2 trailers, and then the 3rd trailer, and then pretty soon it's a multi-trailer business, sending trailers all across the United States and Canada. These guys do it right, and let me tell you, there's no better family in Jackson County than the Eves family. And then also Temp Pro. Ask about financing on new upgrades. Sam and John Laster are the guys. Give them a call at 501-827-3213. White River Health, caring beyond health care. Until next time, everybody, this is David Black from Cable 15 TV and Sports Unleashed. Thank you. See you next week.